This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Well, game week, obviously, and we're excited to have an opportunity to get over to Little Rock and play Western Carolina. Kerwin and Cade Bell do a wonderful job with that team offensively. I think they set records last year in touchdown passes, records for total offense. A lot of bubbles, a lot of things that are concerning to us that we've been practicing on now. Going in today would be day 4 for Western. Defensively, have some really good pass rushers, good edge, good defensive ends. Guys in the back who can run. Offensively, forgot to mention their wideouts and their running back. Very, very explosive guys. Starting to have our work cut out for us. Always first games are scary because of the unknown about the opponent, unknown this year about our own team. But we're really excited to get over there and play a fine Western Carolina team.
Coach, you guys moved game time to noon from 3 o'clock. Are you worried that's going to impact tailgating at all? And what's your thoughts on moving it up?
No, I'm not worried about tailgating. I can tell you that. Now, that's going to make people mad, but I don't care. We're trying to do what's best for our team, what's best for the fans. We're trying to. I would imagine tailgating if you're 3 hours before at 9 o'clock when it's maybe 80-something degrees versus 96 or 95 or whatever it would be if you started at noon. I would think it'd be better for the fans. Trey, we played 5 of our first 8 games on the road. And so when the heat came out, there was a decision to make whether you're going to move it forward or move it backwards. Well, moving it backwards, if it starts at 6 or 7, you're going to get the team home at 1:30 or 2:30 in the morning versus 7:30. We don't have a break till after week 8. Obviously, you guys know we have a 4-game spread there on the road, and 5 of our first 8. It just made no sense to me to move it back and get our kids back here at 1:32, 2:30 in the morning for a game where we could move it up. Tailgating should be cooler. The game should be cooler. And as you well know, if the game starts at 6, you're out there at 4 o'clock, and it's 96 degrees out there for tailgaters, pregame, hog walk, all those things. I just thought it was the smartest thing for us. Once the heat became a factor to move it up for the safety of our kids and for our fans.
I wonder if you could comment on the captain selection. 2 defensive ends, a kicker. You don't see 6 often. Just the decision to go with 6 and just on the guys that were selected.
Yeah, the team selected them. We don't have any influence on them. We're not in the locker room with them. We're not with them every day outside of football. The weight room, how they work, the accountability. So there was a few that were certainly high in votes, a couple. And then the rest of the guys were all about the same. And so I decided to go with 6 this year. I think we've gone maybe 5 one year, I think, maybe. And but it was so close that I didn't want to have to be the guy who made the decision on one vote here or there, whether you couldn't become a captain or not. So we decided to go with 6. I thought it was really good. We have good leadership on our team, and that was basically because of the voting. That's why we decided, because of closeness of the votes. That's why I decided to go ahead and go with 6.
I'm pleased with how everything went in the mock game on Friday.
Yeah, I was, and it's really just a substitution, and then obviously how we do Fridays and Saturdays. I thought it went well. We caught balls. We had a 10-minute period of pat and go with both DBs, linebackers, and then of course the wide, all skill position. And then we stayed and caught kicks and punts. And, well, we kicked live. We did not cover live, but we did kick live, kickoffs, punts, and things during that time as well. We punted the ball really well, kicked off, field goals, kicked well. So I was really pleased with what we got accomplished, yes.
And a lot of oars here with the starters on the depth chart. Maybe could you just walk through some of that, or you feel okay with all that?
I do. I mean, they're or because, in all honesty, we really don't know who's going to run out with the ones. If they're an or, we know they're going to play a lot of ball for us. But in all honesty, we haven't decided who's going to run out there. Now, we've decided what positions and all that, but there's a few of them that either via injury, are they going to be back in time for Saturday's game? Maybe it is, with moving some kids, like Snacks has moved from hog to corner to, where Jaden Johnson and Hudson Clark are. Very, very close battle right there. So we really don't know today exactly in some of those positions who we're going to run out there with the ones yet. But we know that group that if they're an or, we trust them, and they're going to play a lot of football. Who runs out there first probably in most cases has been decided, not in all.
Within a year of you becoming a head coach here, you had three things happen. COVID, transfer portal, NIL all hit. Yeah. And I'm just wondering, how did you deal with all that, as a head coach when all three of those hit you in one short span and there's no booklet on how to get prepared for that kind of stuff?
I rely on my staff, until we talk it out. I'm not quick with decisions. I try to take my time and think about it. Always it's what's best for the kids. But my biggest concern in all that was separation of the team. NIL was a separation of the team. Portal, to be honest with you, was a separation of the team. COVID, not necessarily, but it did separate you from the team. So, culture to me is a big thing, and the two hottest topics of separating the team, the culture is NIL and certainly the portal. So I've changed. I've made mistakes. I've changed in the fact that, we tell the kids we don't want anybody to go in the portal. And, before we just never really addressed it until they came into my office. But now, if we've signed them, we don't want them to leave. And so I think that's helped our culture a little bit. The NIL is certainly something that, if somebody making this much money and somebody else isn't, certainly there's a possibility of separation. But we don't seem to have too big of a problem with it right now.
You mentioned your transfer portal numbers going into the season and how you felt like you really hit on transfer portal guys. Do you have any worries that when you add that many that there could be issues in the locker room or just anything like that when you're dealing with that many?
Yeah, I do, except for at our place, they have to earn everything they get. They're just a part of the team, and they're like everybody else. They, I think not that Jaden Hazelwood didn't deserve to start for us. He didn't earn the right to start the first day of spring practice. I made a mistake. So I try to learn from those things, and I think as long as the kids are earning what they get, I think the entire team's fine with it. But I made that mistake, and I love Hazelwood. It's not his fault. We put him with the ones the first day, and that was a mistake.
Coach, I saw where Chris Paul and Jaheim Thomas are as an ordeal. Is that because Chris has missed so much time with the injury?
Yeah, he's been hurt. It could be, in all honesty, it could be Thomas and Crook out there, when we run out there. Thomas and Pooh. I just don't know for sure who will run out there first, but those three will play a lot of ball for us on Saturday.
People compared Rocket and KJ to Alex and Brandon, but does this team, other than maybe the experience of the offensive line, remind you a lot of that 2015 team?
Well, we had good wideouts then, and I think we're pretty good there. We had backs. I guess if you were looking at it offensively, I do think I walked by a huddle you know what a huddle is. Nobody does it anymore, but it's where the 11 guys get around, they talk. I think 7 or 9, I can't remember, that were in that huddle. That's a picture of that team, 15 team, played in the NFL. I'm not talking about scout team. I'm talking about they got on an active roster. It's pretty dang good, and probably the reason we were pretty good, offensively. I don't know if it's 13, 14, 15. I'm going to say it was 15, the pitcher. I think it was because Denver was in there. So, but, yeah, I think if you look at it that way, they played well together. That group played really well together. And hopefully our team will do the same.
Your jukebox is getting a good workout the last week or so. I know you're happy about that.
Say again.
The jukebox is getting a good workout lately.
Man.
I know you're happy about that.
Yeah, I'll be happy. Yeah, I don't know what to say, but yeah, it's been a good few days there.
Coach, do you have an update on Jaden Wilson, and how confident are you that he might be able to play on Saturday? I'm
confident he'll play. He's healing up. I'm confident he'll play.
Antonio Greer wasn't on the depth chart. Is that a matter of his status? Like, is he not going to play?
Yeah, it's a matter of is he going to be healthy enough to play. He did practice on Saturday, not necessarily physically, but he was out there in some 7-on-7 and doing some things. So we'll see how he comes around today and tomorrow. You got to get going, and it's not his fault. But I mean, if he gets healthy, obviously he'll have some type of role on Saturday. But we just don't know yet right now whether he'll be healthy enough to play or not.
The determining factor will be, deciding between Chamblee and Manuel run out there first?
Dev had that spot. He's been beat up just a little bit. We haven't got him quite back to full speed. It just depends, I think, on how long it goes before he can go full speed. If it gets to midweek, I don't think there is a decision. I think Chamblee's earned that right. If it's today and things like that, we'll just see who plays better over the next few days.
Hi, Coach. I'm wondering if you've reflected at all on what your personal goals are for this year and the season as a whole.
Well, I want to play our best ball. There's some things that are concerning. It's how we played against non-logo schools, and I put us in that too. Whenever we start talking about the LSUs and the Alabamas and all that, we kind of obviously we love the Razorback, but the guys that are in the top 10 every year in recruiting. So we haven't played well. We didn't play well against Missouri State last year. Obviously, Liberty. Even 2 years ago, Georgia Southern, I think they had us on the ropes out here until we woke up a little bit. Rice, not Georgia Southern necessarily, but Rice. So that's a concern. We've talked a lot about we're not playing opponents. We're trying to play our best ball, and we've got to get back to that physicality and playing our hearts out every week, whomever we play. Goal-wise, if we could do that, I think wins and losses will take care of itself, because I do think we have a talented team.
Sam noticed Isaiah was the number one punt returner and kick returner. Just wondering what all went into that.
Well, I mean, he was the most consistent back there. Obviously, we believe in Bryce, and things of that nature, but he was the most consistent catching the football on a kickoff. He returned one Saturday ago for a touchdown on a kickoff. So we're going to let him have it and see what he does. But he's very talented. The other guys are too, but, you can only have one. So it's like a quarterback back there. You only have one. You try to pick the best one and let it go. So that's why we decided to, just as consistency in practice.
Coach, you got 5 tight ends listed on the depth chart. Are you expecting, all 5 of them to play significant snaps on Saturday?
I think right now, at least 4 of them, will play significant minutes. Has is he's probably number one on that list, and then the other guys are really good players. They exceed in different things. Probably Has right now is probably the most run catching and blocking, probably the most consistent there. But we believe in 4 or 5 of them. I expect them to play.
What's your plan on Friday? You flying down, or and you're planning on coming back Saturday?
No, we're busing down and back. Especially with the game being moved up, we could get back by maybe 7:30, which would be a good time. Again, I'm concerned about 8 games in a row, and I tell you this too. You may or may not think about this, but you do if you go out to practice every day. This air conditioning getting fixed in the indoor was huge. I mean, huge, because you get into week 5 and it's hot, and you've just played a pretty brutal schedule. You're going through it, and I remember when we won 9 games, we had to cut some reps, some different things like that, and I don't think that's really good for anybody. We had to do it because of the heat. So hope that answers your question.
You finalized both coordinators in the booth?
They are, both of them, yeah.
What have you learned over the years from openers that maybe you, I don't know, didn't expect, or something that's changed your mindset?
The faster you start, the first year I was just trying to figure out how to use the headset, to be honest with you. I'd wore it at practice, but I was so nervous, man. The year we played Georgia, I was over there, and hey, are you guys here? Are you on? Are you on? Oh, you're on defense. Oh, I was trying to get to offense and stuff. And no, I make light about it, but everything when you first get started is so brand new, you're concerned about, penalties and do you take it, do you not, 2-minute, all those type things. And as you practice it more and you do it more, you become hopefully a little better at it. But, I've learned a lot of those type things, and it takes the stress out of it a little bit now. I feel a bit more confident about everything.
Hey, you referenced Kerwin Bell at the top. Have y'all crossed paths? Do you know him much or anything?
I know of him, because of his career, playing, everything. And but you throw on the tape now, they're scary on offense, and they got a really good defense as well. I don't mean to slight that, but offensively they've set records, and they like to throw that bubble and like to run that stretch play, and they're good at it.
Is it important to get outside this week? Because I think you were in all last week mostly.
We were until Friday night and Saturday. We got out. We're going to be out all week, probably until Thursday, and we'll probably go in Thursday. But other than that, I think with the weather how it's been, I think we can get outside. We need to.
Who are their veteran returning guys, and have they added a lot through the portal too?
From what I understand, I think they've added about 6 in the portal, a couple of D tackles. I think they're from Akron. There's a kid named Micah Nelson. He's a boundary end. That's a really good player. He's number 9. He's a really good player. They got a nickel. That's a good player. Defensively, they've got they got a free safety that's returning. They got 6 starters coming on defense and 6 on offense. Offensively, they're talented at the skill. Like I talked about, the running back. 9 played, I don't know, maybe the last 8 or 9 games last year for them. They had another guy, and he got hurt, I believe, but then 9 came in, and I think they won their last 3 games, all really close games, did a good job in 2 minutes. And then they're pretty big on the O-line. They probably average about 305 on the O-line. And so 2 tight ends. One of them they use a little bit more for blocking. The other 11 they use for catching. But, really good team. Got a good field goal kicker. And, good football team.
Sam, I know you can't talk specifics with recruiting, but the last 2 guys you've landed are really, really young kids.
Yeah.
Do you think that's going to maybe become more of a trend with recruiting younger guys, or is it kind of a situational type thing with recruits?
I don't really know. What would that be? Yeah, I mean, they're young, aren't they? I don't really know. You know, you're so much further ahead in recruiting now than you've ever been. I mean, it's just like the second signing date. I don't know. We have to look it up. 50% of the people probably don't sign anybody the second signing date. You know, maybe they do one or two. So it's over. You know, remember why we used to have the celebrations and all that, the first Wednesday in February and all that? And, I mean, we didn't sign a player, last year. So I think everything pushing up, you'll start seeing that 2 and 3 years ahead, guys trying to solidify their spot, especially if they were able to go around the country and see what they like. And then I guess a lot of it has to do with stability of coaches and things of that nature, if you can sell that. Wait. I'm sorry. I've got one. I'm sorry. What's the coach's biggest apprehension going into the season opening game? And I think I answered that one I think, Trey, you asked that one. So.
The games went, I think, 3 hours and 40 minutes. I noticed on Saturday, I think there's supposed to be, 12 to 15 fewer plays. Have you all talked about how that might affect your game management?
You look at it different ways. Everybody's got an opinion, and this is a fact. Well, no, it ain't a fact. It's just what they think is fact, But if you ask our officials, and they're going to say that it's going to cost 3 to 4 seconds on an inbounds after a first down inbound, 3 or 4 seconds. So, other than that, I don't know what'll change. But no, we haven't too much. We obviously have talked to the team about it. But as far as shorten the game, I don't know that we've talked about that.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.